Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be a book haul. I have 17 books to haul today, and I also have 3 DVDs that I thrifted. I also have 4 packages to open. These are all pre-orders. I'm very excited to open these. I've had them sitting here for like 2 days, so I'm excited to open all of that. I'm going to start with a pile of books that I have already shown in some videos, but I haven't hauled yet. I have shown some of these in my Doing Bookish Stuff vlog and my most recent vlog as well. I'll just quickly go through these. So the first one I have is In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. This is a fantasy paranormal romance about sirens. It's very interesting and unique. I did already read this. I talked about it in my last vlog, but I will talk more at length about this in my September wrap-up that is going to be up in a couple of days. Then I have Burn Bright by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the first book in the Cobalt Empire series. I did read this in September as well, so I will talk about it in my wrap-up, but I loved this. This was my first 5-star read of the year, which is crazy. This follows Ben Cobalt, who is the 6th Cobalt kid, and he falls in love with Harriet, who is very much kind of the opposite of Ben. I really loved this book, and I cannot wait for the rest of the books in the series. I'm dying for the next one. Then I have I Could Be Yours by Helena Hunting. This is technically a part of her Toronto Terror series. It's about 2 side characters that are not fully a part of the friend group, but like sort of, I guess. I believe one of the Toronto Terror couples are getting married, and these 2 characters are a part of the wedding party. It's a super short book, so I thought I could definitely read this before the next Toronto Terror book comes out, which is in November, and I'm very excited for that one. So I thought I would grab this and read it. I just find Helena Hunting's writing to be very comforting and heartwarming, so I'm gonna read this before the next Toronto Terror book comes out. I'll hopefully read this month. Then I bought Please Don't Go by E. Salvador. This I had heard so many glowing reviews for. I also love the cover. I just think it is so beautiful. I believe this is a little bit of a sports romance, but I think it also deals with grief. I think also they're in college too, so it's a college romance, but I am very excited to read this because, like I said, I've heard really good things, and I'm hoping I love this, so I can't wait. Then I bought Lost and Found by Tierra Stockham. This I had seen a couple of good reviews as well, but this is a little bit more of a blind buy because I only saw like 1 or 2 good reviews, and I read like the first page, and I was intrigued, and I was like, I need a physical copy of this. I feel like I'm going to love this book. I also love the cover. It's gorgeous. This I think is a second chance romance and a single mom romance. I don't know if he is technically the father or not, but I love a good second chance romance, and this one does seem like it will be pretty heavy and interesting, so I can't wait. And then the last book that I've quickly shown in other videos is Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. This I really wanted to buy because I read the first page and I was immediately intrigued. And when I was at Indigo, I had only bought Burn Bright and In the Veins of the Drowning, but I really wanted to buy this. However, it was very expensive, but a couple weeks later, I had a $5 Plum Points reward, so I used a $5 credit on this, and I cannot wait to read this. I haven't read it yet, but I love the cover. I think blue and red is just so complementary to each other. Like, I love the blue and the red. Oh my god, that is stunning. The blue swords. I genuinely don't know much about this, to be honest. It's a fantasy romance between a widowed housekeeper and her unlikely sword protector. I've heard really good things about this, so I cannot wait to read this as well. Now we're gonna open some of the packages. Like I said, these are 4 pre-orders. I don't know which is which, so we'll see. I did also take off my address and stuff, so I don't have to worry about that. We have It's Different This Time by Joss Richard. Ooh, this is a very floppy paperback. Love that. This I have heard really good things about. I believe the author is also Canadian. First of all, the cover is stunning. I love the cover. I believe it takes place in New York City in the fall, which is really fun. It's a second chance romance. A twist of fate forces two former roommates back into their beloved New York City brownstone, where they must confront the events that led to their estrangement and the unresolved feelings lingering between them. Okay, here's package number 2. Oh my god, they really taped this. We have Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. I have been waiting for this for like over a month. It came out early in September, and for some reason it was kind of like back ordered, like you couldn't even order it, but I had pre-ordered it. Oh no, it looks like there's a little mark on the sprayed edge, but I'm very excited to read this. I have heard mixed reviews. I saw Mayana's review, so I'm a little hesitant to read this now just because I think she gave it 3 stars, but I still want to read it. I'm going to go into it with an open mind, but this is like a young adult paranormal romance with werewolves. The author compares it a lot to The Vampire Diaries, but I've also heard that it is quite similar to Twilight, so we'll see. But I just had to get this beautiful like sprayed edge design, and I love the cover. I just think it's stunning. I cannot wait to read this. Okay, here's package number 3. Whoops. I don't know why these boxes are so awkward. We have Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This is probably going to be the first book that I read this month. I'm very excited to read this. This follows a couple in a small town, a upholsterer in need of a fresh start, a photographer whose life has come to a screeching halt, and the supernatural forces that bring them together. I love a good contemporary romance with a supernatural or paranormal twist or magical realism. I love it. I think it's so fun. And I'm excited to see what else Lila Sage can write because I loved her Blue Rebel Ranch series. So again, very excited to read this. I'm excited to read all of these books, and I will repeat that over and over again. So sorry. Okay, then the last package. We have Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose. Wow, this book feels really interesting. The text is like raised a little bit, and the paperback itself is quite stiff. Wow. This cover is gorgeous. This was originally self-published, and now this is the traditionally published edition. I love the colors. I think it's so fun. The original cover is a lot more like muted, but I love that they decided to add color, and I love the sprayed edge moment. I think that's so pretty. Oh my god, and there's a little photo in here. That's fun. I believe this is a dark cowboy romance. I believe it's also age gap maybe. Oh, and ex-boyfriend's father. I'm so happy I waited to buy this edition instead of buying the self-published edition. This is just beautiful. Now onto the rest of the books. I have Alchemized by Senlin Yu. This is a new fantasy romance, sort of, I guess. This book is massive. It is so heavy. It's 1,000 pages. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is the thickest book ever. It's so heavy. I'm surprised this book doesn't have like sprayed edges or anything like that, but I mean the papers are also very, very thin. I did actually read this entire thing in September, so I will talk about it in my wrap up. I will say I like the cover better in person than online. And after like reading the book, I get this cover now. Then we have The Heartbreak Hotel by Ellen O'Clover. This is a contemporary romance. A bed and breakfast for the brokenhearted might hold the key to another chance at love. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I have heard mixed reviews from it now as it's been released, but I'm still excited to read this. It's also a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, cannot wait to dive into this hopefully soon. Then I have Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. This is a young adult contemporary. I did already read this, so I will talk about it in my September wrap up, but it has this pretty sprayed edge design. I don't like this color. I wish they would have went with more of an orange. Like, it just doesn't match the cover, in my opinion. This essentially follows Ellis, who has to move to the small town with her mom, and she has to help with the small town's fall festival, and she kind of falls in love with her like childhood friend. Super cute and fun, and definitely perfect for the fall season. Then I have Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This is the fourth and final book in the Rose Hill series. I did also read this in September, so we'll talk about it in my wrap up. This is the Indigo edition with the pretty character art. This is about a single dad who falls in love with his son's ex-girlfriend. I have a lot to say about this book, so I can't wait to talk about it in my wrap up. Then I have Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish. This is another fall romance. Fall I Want is a feel-good, spicy, small-town romantic comedy with a billionaire who falls first and harder. Grab a pumpkin spice latte, a warm fuzzy blanket, and make your way down to Cozy Creek. I've heard really bad things about this, to be honest. I did pre-order this when the cover was revealed just because it looked so cute, and I have heard really bad reviews for this, but I am still going to read it. I'm still going to give it a try. I also love the edge designs. I think it's beautiful. This book in general does scream fall, which is very exciting. But yeah, we'll see how I feel about this. I'm hoping to read this month. Then I have two more books, and then we'll get to the DVDs. So I have Drawn Together by Juliana Smith. I have heard really, really good things about this. This is another fall romance set in New York City. A rival children's book author and illustrator become reluctant friends over their mutual need to advance in their careers in this heartwarming, character-driven, slow burn rom-com set in fall New York City. This was already on my fall TBR, and then I saw some really, really good reviews, so I went ahead and just grabbed the paperback, and I am very excited to read this. I also want to read this month. And then lastly, I have If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This I also want to read this month. This is another fall romance, obviously, but it takes place in a small town, Vermont, and it's a slow burn romance, and it's set during 1997. I feel like we don't get a lot of romances set in like the 90s, so this is kind of interesting and fun. I've heard really good things about it. Again, I'm excited to read this. I feel like this is one of my favorite hauls because I have so many books that I'm excited to read, and I've read some really good books. Then I have 3 DVDs to share with you guys. I went thrifting a couple weeks ago, and I only found 3, but I am very happy to add these to my collection. So the first one is Aladdin. I'm trying to collect my favorite Disney movies, like the classics, and this one was $5.99. I find it really interesting that they like do double DVDs, like, you know, the Blu-ray and then just a normal DVD, but I am happy to add this one to my collection. Then we have the Santa Claus movie. This trilogy is my favorite Christmas movies, and I have, I think, number 2 or number 3. And I obviously needed number 1, so I grabbed this. This was $3.99. Then I got the 3rd season of The Vampire Diaries. I have season 1 and season 2. I've had those for like years, and I only like the first 3 seasons of the show. I quit watching after season 4. I just could not care anymore. So I now have season 3, so I can watch the first 3 seasons whenever I want. This was $5.99 as well, which I think is a pretty good deal for like, what, 22 episodes? I think that's a pretty good deal. And yeah, I'm happy I have the first 3 seasons. I'm also like low-key addicted to thrifting DVDs. I find it so fun. I'm hoping to go in a couple of days again. I love hunting for DVDs. I think it's so great and saves me money so I don't have to buy things brand new, and then also I get to just add more to my collection. So those are all the books and the DVDs that I had to haul today. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I hauled and what you think about them, or let me know any of your recent book buys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.